Monday night, yesterday night, we had another comeback in the game. And this one with a rookie quarterback. Well, technically not a rookie, but in my eyes, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Vikings visited the Chicago Bears, and Vikings beat the Bears 27-24. Viking stats: JJ McCarthy threw for 143 yards, two TDs, one interception on 13 completions for 20 attempts. Ran two times for 25 yards and one rushing TD. Jordan Mason, new Viking this year, ran for 68 yards on 15 carries. Aaron Jones, Vikings, what, 2 years now? Had 8 carries, 23 yards, and three catches for 44 yards, and one of them was a receiving TD, which was a long TD pass, it was like 35 yards. Justin Jefferson caught four passes for 44 yards and one TD, which that TD is literally what started the train for the Vikings to get the win. What did you think about the Minnesota Vikings play?
Oh man, that's such a confusing team, right? Last year they were probably expected to win 4 or 5 games. Sam Darnold led them, to a very good season overall. I know they got bounced early, but still, um, here we are, and they're very tough to evaluate because they have talent. It's just the perception of the quarterback spot that a lot of teams fall into. Where if you don't have a premier guy or somebody we know to be good and proven, now we have a question mark about the entire team. So I do think they have a good enough roster to look good and get things done. That first half of the game didn't really show that. I know you have the pick six or whatever to the
Mm.
interception, and that's just like you said. He's not a rookie, but he didn't play all last year, so he's a rookie, and he has had big game opportunities with Michigan and all that. So he's kept his poise and he got the job done. So in terms of the Vikings and how I think about them long term, I think more so my concern for them is just their competition in the division. I think the Packers are going to win the division. I think the Lions are going to make the playoffs. So now you're just kind of in a spot where you're the odd man out, realistically. Not to say three teams can't come from the division, but I don't think it'll be them. Um, but for now, considering, like you said, Jefferson only had 40 something yards, could have very easily had an 80-yard to 120-yard game average like he always does,
Mhm.
and he didn't. Yet they still were able to survive and look good down the end. I know it's the Bears, and that's kind of what they do. But either way, if you're just a Vikings fan and you're focused on the Vikings, you had a lot of quality things happen, and it wasn't all just from Jefferson like it has been for the past few
Mm.
years. It's a little more balanced. The defense was still there. They were able to step up. They weren't, you know, amazing. What 24 points is not like a crazy average to allow, but they were consistent in how they played throughout the game. They had a lot of little three and out spots. They had a lot of key like we need this stop spots, and they got it. So a lot of optimism from the Vikings. I'm not saying they're going anywhere, but if you're a Vikings fan, you can build on this.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like the Vikings in the beginning, especially the defense, they were asleep. I didn't think that they were awake. I didn't even think they were at the game. Honestly, I thought the Bears were just playing against their scrimmage in their practice squad. Like the Vikings was just not there at all for me. And then going into halftime, I would say like the last 4 minutes is when they started to wake up a little bit, right? After halftime, when they came out, they looked like they were playing more physical. They looked like they were playing faster. They looked like they were playing more intelligent. And it was what you saw from the Vikings defense last season under Brian Flores and all that stuff. It's the Vikings defense that you wanted to see and that we thought we were going to see. And they finally woke up and we actually saw them, right? With JJ McCartney in the offense. The running game wasn't there. The O line wasn't. Actually, honestly, I think they were asleep too. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like they weren't blocking at all. JJ McCarthy, again, technically not a rookie quarterback, but to me, he's a rookie quarterback. It looked like he wasn't. He looked like he was uncomfortable. Looked like the lights were shining bright on his face. He couldn't see anything. He was out there like, oh man, what is going on? Blah blah blah. Again, the O line wasn't really blocking for him. I think the Bears had 3 sacks in that first half or something like that. So the Bears defense was doing good. And then that second half, they started to wake up. Once JJ McCartney threw that pick six, I honestly loved it for him, bro, because it looked like he looked at himself in the mirror and he was like, yo, you need to go out there and stop being a punk. You need to go out there and show these people what you got. And that's exactly what he did. 3 drives that he scored 3 TDs. It was it was awesome. It was awesome to see, honestly. Awesome to see. 2 passing, 1 rushing. And they just woke up and he showed that he can be good. And the Vikings came back on the Bears and they showed him what's up. But dude, JJ McCarthy, I love what I saw out of him, man. And I wanted to ask you, Do you think after last night's showing, he will be a good QB in the league? I would say top 20.
I think he can do the 15 to 20 range because he is kind of a consistently pretty accurate quarterback. Now, he's not going to wow you with all these crazy throws and things like that. Not saying he's not capable, but that's not what we've seen in his career. In terms of Michigan, I know he did have some big plays, but at the same time, I try to, kind of levy that against the fact that he's got more talent than a lot of teams and so on and so forth. And against big teams, what did I see? I do think he has potential to lock in, like you said. That fourth quarter, he was amazing. Nothing negative you can say about it. Three straight drives, everything you want to say, especially because he's coming in after a guy that Sam Darnold that had a great season that was unexpected and then was moved. So it's like, okay, are we moving this guy and giving up on something that just proved to be doing well? That now we're going to roll the dice on rookie that just came off an injury that we have no clue what he's going to be. Like there's a lot of pressure on him in that first half, so I understand why he looked the way he did. But like you said, that pick six woke him up. He locked in, he got it done, and he flipped the switch. I think that attitude, if he can carry that forward into the rest of these games, you never know. I think he can be a 15 to 20 quarterback. Yesterday, he looked like a 8 to 12 quarterback. So to put him in that like
Mhm.
15 to 20 range, I think that's very achievable. And I think they have a good enough team and a good enough defense to give him opportunities to show that.
Yeah, and I think it's too early to tell for sure. Week one
Yeah.
only. But dude, I love the poise that he had at the end. The adversity. They were down what 17-3 or something, 17-6, I think it was. And the Bears could have taken that. They could have taken it all the way. They could have started the year 1-0. Caleb Williams would have looked like, yo, man, under Ben Johnson, he's doing all this stuff, blah blah blah. But JJ McCarthy was like, yo, man, nah, you're not gonna take this away from me. I'm gonna show you guys exactly why they did not re-sign Sam Darnold, why they believe in me after tearing my damn knee up, did not play a whole season, was on the bench just learning. And I'm gonna show you what's up, man. I'm gonna show you what's up after this pick six. I'm gonna go three straight drives with three TDs, one rushing, two passing, and you guys are gonna see what's good. And I just love the poise. I love the fact that he overcame the adversity. He believed in himself. And if you were watching the game, the way that he was talking to his team on the sideline, it looked like the guy's been in the league for 10 years. He looked like Tom Brady screaming at his Patriots teammates. And bro, I love to see it, man. And honestly, just to throw a little shade, man, that's exactly what Mike McDaniel need to be doing out there. He don't be doing that shit.
You ain't wrong, though. You ain't wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Chicago Bears stats. Caleb Williams threw for 210 yards, one TD, zero interception, 21 completions on 35 attempts, and he ran six times for 58 yards for one rushing TD. Good for him. DeAndre Swift ran 17 times for 53 yards. DJ Moore caught three passes for 68 yards and ran the ball three times for 8 yards. And there was one pass at the end of the game. If you guys saw, I know you saw CL, that Caleb Williams could have had it to DJ Moore, that he was wide open. They would have scored and they would have won that game 100%. I'm sure Caleb Williams is beating himself up for that. Roma Tuesday caught six passes for 37 yards and one TD. What did you think about the Chicago Bears overall play?
Man, I'm going to start with that pass. you, just, you just came off of a nice first down pass. You're moving. You snap the ball quick. You catch them off guard. They get into the corner and the safety kind of like think, okay, they're jamming. They're going to go on the inside. Short pass, kind of like screen right, get out of bounds, quick kind of thing. And this guy wheel routes so open, like you could have like it just recess soft toss would have led him right into the end zone. And he hails this thing out of bounds. And like I just don't. That was so bad. Now, granted, I don't tend to
I
be
could have
high
won
on
my fantasy league because of that, man.
Oh, you lost because that. Yeah,
Thinking
well,
out loud.
that's no, yeah.
I was thinking about a lot.
There's a whole city of heartbreak out there. They're waiting to join you.
Literally.
I mean,
Literally.
and okay, so coming into the draft with Caleb Williams, I don't tend to like Ohio State semi, mobile quarterbacks. I don't tend to like these like West Coast quarterbacks in college that just kind of do it against small, competition and stuff like that. Like there's certain colleges and certain areas in college football when a quarterback's doing well that I'm like, I'm not just out on them. I was like, let me dive in and see what's going on. I didn't really think that Caleb Williams was like all that coming out of the draft. I did think that the Bears had to take the chance on it, and they could have a guy that could be there for 5, 6, 7 years and be, not. win a Super Bowl or anything, but at least have someone. As a team that never has somebody, they're like Cleveland Browns. You know, when was the last time you had a Bears quarterback that you're just like, yeah, that's our guy, Jay Cutler? That was like a year of that. Other than that, like nobody. Like they never have someone. So I get it.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying I'm out on him, but that pass is just so much what he has been since he's been there. Like you just had a nice good play, you read well, you did it quick, you got into your zone quick, you had an opening, yeah, you looked for the quick check down and try to get to it, but then you noticed it in your peripherals. He just doesn't adjust quickly on making passes from his first decision or his second decision into the third or the fourth. As soon as he sees it, he's late on it. It's just like American soccer versus freaking Brazilian soccer. These guys are two passes ahead. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wait a second, American soccer, like, you're open, right? If I pass to you, then, let's see what happens. And it's like, he's always one step behind on his progressions. And it's frustrating because, yeah, they put so many weapons. There's a team that had no weapons the year before he got there. And they went out and they grabbed all these different weapons to try to build up the offense. So he had people. Ben Johnson's there now, one game. So I'm not going to go all nuts on it. But it's just like, come on, dude. Like, people miss passes, and that's just going to happen. But at the end of the day, like, this is just, again, if you're a Bears guy, I am not. This is just the same old feeling. The Browns game, Bengals escape. Browns missed an extra point. They missed a 30-something yard field goal. Every Browns fan is same old Browns, right? Like, this is same old Bears. And it's just, when is it going to stop? And I know he's young. I know it's early. I'm not overreacting to just one thing. It's just frustrating, bro. Like, as it's just a fan just watching, like, oh, I can't believe
yeah.
he's do that. It's a crowd like that. So
I mean,
overall, they got pieces. They got stuff there. They looked good in the first half. They did what they had to do for most of the game. But what a fold job against a rookie quarterback at home.
yeah. No,
Monday Night Football.
it was a big time fold. I like the way that he came out, man. I like the way that he played in that first half. I think he was going
Yeah,
strong. He was going crazy the first half. He looked very confident and he looked like he knew exactly where guys were gonna be. He knew exactly where he wanted to place the ball. That offense was moving smoothly. But again, I think the Vikings defense was asleep. I don't think they were there. I think they were still on the bus. I think they're out getting hot dogs. I don't know. So it kind of plays into that, like, okay, was the Bears offense really that good in that first half, or was it the Minnesota's defense was horrible in that first half? So, we got to see what's up in the regular season. But again, I just like his confidence. He looked exactly, he knew what he was doing. DeAndre Swift looked good. Ben Johnson's a great coach, man. And obviously, he's a great offensive minded coach. So, I think the offense is going to do good for the rest of the season. I don't think it's going to let up. DJ Moore, obviously, he wished that ball would have been right in the numbers and he would have gotten that touchdown. And obviously, Caleb Williams would have had that too. The Bears would have won easily. They would have won easily, bro. They would have won easily. But
yeah,
it happens. Sometimes it is what it is. You can't take back what you do in life. And dude, he's just got to be more poised when it comes to the end of the game and not be so antsy. Because if you watch that play, he looked to the left. Roman Doomsday was covered. He looks up and he see DJ wide open and he got antsy with it and he just let it go and obviously came off of probably one or two bad fingertips and it took off. They didn't throw it right. But that's what you learn. You learn that down the road. You gotta stay more calm, more poised, and the plays are gonna be there. You just can't get so antsy with it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I like their defense. I think their defense was good. I like the run defense in the beginning. It started to let up in the second half. Maybe that comes with conditioning. Maybe they need some more conditioning and stamina. Their offense looked good overall. I like the excitement for the Bears. For Chicago fans, I feel like it's gonna be a good season. Not saying they're gonna make playoffs. Not saying they're gonna make wild card or anything like that. But they could be borderline 500, which is it's an improvement. But obviously, they want to be higher than that. They want to get to the bowl and all this stuff. But for now, I think they did an above average job in this Monday Night Football game.
And the crowd was into it. They even mentioned during the broadcast that's probably the loudest they've heard that crowd be since the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
Colts
dude.
Super Bowl.
Hmm.
So that was, damn, 20 years ago, whatever it was. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't really put them in that, like, you know, you look when the Knicks are good, basketball's good. When the Lakers are good, basketball's good. Those teams are good. Like, I know it's Chicago and, Jordan and the Cubs and stuff like that. I don't really put the Bears in that circle. Like when the Bears are good, football's just funner. But at the same time, it's they're due. They're due to be good. They're due to be entertaining. And at least the
Hmm.
crowd showed up because when's the last time this team had real expectations? You know, like 10, 15 years, 20 years, that you had real expectations on this team with that amazing defense back then. But other than that, that's a good way, to at least gauge that what you're doing is going in the right direction. Crowd was there. They were hyped to the end, booing at the end, of course, because you took the loss. But that aside, a lot of positives, just very big negatives that sucks. So let's see how they rebound.
Yeah, and facts, facts.